Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Fired Up Reddit. Looking forward for some juicy stuff from Reddit? Then sit back, relax, grab the popcorn, click that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification. So without further ado, let's get right into it.
I have been decrypting the Bible for the last 2 years, and this is what I have concluded to this far. A person called Jesus existed, and so did his disciples. However, all the characters mentioned in the Bible didn't. The proof of this is a mistake historians who tried to find if Jesus existed made was they only checked if Jesus existed and some of his close allies. But that is a false approach. If some characters existed, all characters should have existed. According to the Biographical Bible, 2nd edition, there are 3,237 Bible characters named in the scriptures, with 1,443 characters who do not have unique names. For example, there are 4 Benjamins, 14 Josephs, and 31 Zechariahs named. Today there is technology to prove where a person is located on the map and what exactly they're doing this very moment. There have been accurate explanations for what happened millions of years ago. The story of Christianity only happened a bit more than 2,000 years ago. It is possible to prove whether it was real or not. And if other scientists wanted to prove whether Jesus and the story of Christianity is real, they could have done it and come back with a concrete, clear answer. But they didn't do a thorough study. Why other scientists didn't do it is beyond me, but I can prove it in simple ways. And who was the father of disciples John and James? Zebedee? Did such a person exist? And who were all the relatives of the disciples and of all the characters mentioned in the Bible? They didn't exist. But likely Jesus and his disciples did exist. The why is because they were part of a half-successful experiment of those times. I will write more soon. Historical background. The Bible was written over 2,000 years ago. At the time, there was no technology like today, no computers, no internet, not even electricity. There was no medicine as known today, no chemistry, no neuroscience, and no psychology. To heal a person who is injured using such, or any approach at all, was considered nothing short of a miracle. Even if people know how to cure some illnesses today, the fact that people can be cured is still a miracle. The fact that a person who would otherwise die or never recover can manipulate their human body and as a result not be ill anymore and live longer using a certain operation or medicine is still a miracle. Even though people have performed the same miracle many times before, enough so that they don't appreciate that it still is. The religious methods were sciences of the times. They classed under the field of metaphysics, were performed by the most educated people of the times, and people took them seriously. The sciences of the times were primarily mathematics and philosophy. In the field of mathematics, the biggest advancement was two-dimensional geometry. The Bible is a collection of stories, each made using different methods. What is written in the Testament comes from a different source and method than what is written in Genesis, and similarly for all other books. What they all have in common is that they were written using geometrical approaches, as well as an encoding system. The choice of words and letters is made using systems such as isopsphenia and gematria. The making of the Testament. The Testament in specific was originally the result of a meditation done over the spinal tracts. The purpose of that meditation was to cure a person who was ill or injured. A monk meditated and did an introspection of his own tracts, starting from the prefrontal cortex and going all the way down to the bottom of the spine and back. The monk also visualized and recorded his findings. The method he used was similar to the journey technique that people today use in memory contests. The monk sensed each part of his tracts and named each using letters like A, B, C, D, etc., similar to how a geometer names the points on a shape. Then he gave to those points the names of cities and persons. During that meditation, Jesus was most likely a name for the point where the monk focused his concentration on at any given moment. As such, the names of cities in the Testament refer to regions of the human body. The names of disciples refer to either neuronal junctions or neurons, where each of their body parts, such as hands, arms, and legs, are the different ends of the neuron or junction. The latter is also supported by the fact that, at the end of the Testament, all disciples were either dismembered, hanged, crucified, or beheaded. Those actions refer to changes that happened to those neurons or junctions of the nervous system of the monk after he had successfully healed himself with the meditation. From the inside world to the outside world. The tricky question in the Testament is, if it is the result of a meditation, how could Jesus or any of the characters ever be a real person? I think that could have happened because the monks tried to reproduce the meditation in the real world. After the monk healed himself internally with the story he made, the other monks and scientists of the time asked, since it's possible to heal the inside of a person using this method, is it possible to reproduce the meditation in the outer world of real persons and find or produce a person who can heal other people? And so then they set out to do it. I'll bite. In that entire summary, you provided absolutely zero evidence to back up the claim about Jesus existing. I have no idea what counts as evidence for you personally. Likely, even with a scientific paper, you wouldn't be able to read it and comprehend it. When you write 0 in capitals, it doesn't prove your point that you didn't explain anymore. You just fill my screen with junk symbols. That is a rather lame comment. To explain the whole of Christianity in a single page for you for free, or instead to receive slurs and insults, is quite an insulting attitude. If you want me to write the encyclopedia that proves everything about the mystery of Christianity in detail, all verified and with scientific proof, pay me. And you can't. I'm too expensive for you. So take the free stuff now and complain elsewhere about why your curiosity isn't satisfied. Okay, I wrote one sentence that was not insulting nor with an attitude. I'm sorry the response to your post is not as positive as you expected or wished, but seemingly accusing me of having an attitude or insulting you when none of that took place is interesting. You see, religion is by the nature of its passing from generation to generation. It makes it impossible to challenge specific claims without the believer feeling like they're insulted. I don't believe in anything unless it can be backed up with proof or past scientific method. That's it. No personal attack on anything, no attitude. That means I believe in thousands of scientifically proven laws, experiment results, and so forth. Anyone is welcome to challenge those beliefs, and it will be welcomed without insult or attitude. But challenge someone on religion and they instantly become defensive and personal. Now, if you would like to have a healthy conversation on the topic at hand, I will contribute. Or is the purpose of your post just to take your word for it and not be open to scrutiny? You wrote, "I have no idea what counts as evidence for you personally." Evidence should speak for itself and hold up to scientific method and or scrutiny as defined, proof of facts presented and hold up under scrutiny and or testing, neatly divided into the most prevalent direct evidence and the slightly more difficult circumstantial evidence. You opened your post with the following: "This is what I have concluded to this far. A person called Jesus existed, and so did his disciples. However, all the characters mentioned in the Bible didn't. The proof of this is..." Then you go into your review, and the entire basis of your review is using the Bible as evidence, when in fact, the Bible does not count as evidence. The stories, the claims, the implied history does not hold up to any type of scrutiny. And more importantly, they offer no proof, as you stated in your first paragraph. Based on the definition of evidence, there is no evidence that the stories in the Bible ever took place. Just like there is no evidence that the dragons recounted in the Lord of the Rings didn't exist. Both claims are backed up by the same amount of evidence: the existence of writings that depict what some believe happened. This is not a personal attack. This is not meant to be an insult. I was truly looking forward to the proof you discovered and mentioned. But instead of proof, you provided no evidence other than a review and interpretation of those stories in that book. The fallacy of your logic is that you're treating the Bible as if it's correct. You can't use something that is in the Bible as fact without first showing evidence that the events in the Bible actually happened. Science uses many different sources to back up a claim. You're only using one source and claim that it is true.
Thanks for watching, guys. Please support us by subscribing to our channel, and don't forget to like, comment, share our video, and keep fired up, Reddit!